I tolerate men.
We live in a risky world, you know?
Yeah.
So I can say. And, we explore.
Men should always spend on a woman.
Appreciation is a big man.
This podcast is brought to you by Jaay Tattoo. So for everything in tattooing, you can check Jaay, isn't me? You want a whole sleeve done, you want the smallest of tattoo, you want the biggest thing for do, you can check Jaay, isn't me? As you can see, I put on the screen so my dog works and quality tattooing, isn't me? This podcast is also brought to you by TruVybz Island Prints. So for anything in printing on clothing, you can check TruVybz. They are located in Charlestown, right opposite the police station, isn't it? So you can find them on Facebook at TruVybz Island Prints, Instagram TruVybz Island Prints, or you can contact me. Forget anything in printing, quality printing. TruVybz Island Prints, isn't it?
Perspectives Media.
Welcome back to Perspectives Media. On this episode of the Perspectives podcast, we have an interesting guest, isn't it? We have somebody from the HR field within St. Kitts Nevis, isn't it? So, Miss HR, introduce yourself to the Perspectives family.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I don't know what time it is where you're watching from, but my name is Shaniele, and we're here to talk HR.
Yeah, and HR mean human resource.
Yes.
Isn't it? Because you don't know, all of we are at some point in time, we have been human resource in a sense, isn't it? So, Shaniele,
Yes.
what's your specific position? What's your role?
So currently, I'm a training officer 3. I won't say the name of the organization I work for, but that's what I do. But I like to call myself a human resource practitioner because I do more than just training. HR has a huge umbrella, so I am a HR practitioner. But right now, I deal with training and development.
So what kind of training do you do?
So what we'll do like customer service training because that's big. We go to each department. We have a conversation with the employees and we find out what areas do they think that they're lacking and they need improvement on, even having a chat with their heads of departments to find out what areas you think your staff can benefit from, and that's where we tap into and we provide that training.
And how long have you been doing this kind of work?
So I've been with this organization for about 7 months now, but I have been officially in the human resource field since 2018. But prior to that, while I was in university, I worked at a convenience store and I was a supervisor. So I did a lot of HR related stuff, and that is what actually kind of prepped me for university and having that, passion for the field. And so, but officially since 2018.
So since 2018, you've been in HR. And you mentioned being in college. Where did you go to college?
So I went to North Carolina Central University. So that's in North Carolina in the United States.
And where you studying in university?
Where?
What did you study?
Oh, I study human resource management.
Oh, so you're actually college educated in this?
Yes.
Right. So today we are talking about toxic working environment. That's the first thing we are talking about. Because I feel like I've been in a lot of toxic environments working as young as I am, isn't it? And there are a lot of things that make the working environment toxic, isn't it? So, do you think we have healthy working environments here in St. Kitts Nevis?
No place has 100% healthy working environments. There's going to be some type of, rift because you have multiple personalities on the job. So there's going to be some type of, altercation here and there. But there's called conflict resolution. So that is what you use, and then when you have adequate and good managers and stuff, that helps to alleviate a lot of that. But I don't think any work environment is 100% perfect. Yeah.
You just give me a political answer still. You just give me a political answer. Me ask you a straight question and you give me a political answer.
Okay, so yes, there are toxic work environments. Yeah, in St. Kitts Nevis. I've heard stories.
Alright. That we talk about, man. I can pretty up the things so like a fashion show. Yeah, so
Okay.
going back to the toxic working environment. Alright, some of the things what me experience personally is like, alright, not currently, I'm gonna speak specifically towards nothing, but generally, there are people within the workplace, like you have different levels within the workplace. You have a regular employee, you have a supervisor, you have then you have the manager, then you have directors above them and CEO and whatever. Now, working within that structure, at times you find that there's always a huge disparity between supervisor and employees. You see me? And from my perspective rather, supervisors tend to be where the problem always starts. You see me? Because majority of the time a supervisor is somebody who have been working alongside you. And then now somebody turn supervisor and tomorrow them change. Like
right.
them turn this person way. It's like you wonder what a person like where was that personality within you? And then you have some supervisors now who have been working in this organization long time and them become supervisor based off of experience. Then not qualification.
Right.
But experience
Right.
and time spent. And it's like I don't know what, but some of them have this level of bitterness way.
Yeah. That's why you see when I tell people when you want someone to be promoted into that supervisory role, they may be good at their job. For instance, maybe it's an account supervisor. They are a great accountant, and that's good. But you're putting them into a supervisory role. That's a whole different story because they have direct reports. They have people directly under them. So you have to deal with being personable, the interpersonal skills and stuff like that. So you have to, I personally feel that this is where companies should think about investing in their employees because you want to put this person as a supervisor. So set them up for success. Have them do some type of supervisory training. Or if you cannot afford for them to actually go to get a certification or something, there are HR consultants around. Have them come in and say, okay, we want this person to be a supervisor, so we want you to, train them in that aspect, how to deal with people, how to communicate, how to perform performance appraisals and stuff like that. So I think that's where a lot of companies are lacking. You're just putting people in these roles and you're leaving them there.
No amount of training can change a wicked person from.
But that is true. So therefore so with that point, you can't just thrust someone into that role. If you feel like, okay, the person may not be a good fit, then I don't think that they should be a supervisor. Even though they feel like they deserve it because of it may be seniority one, or because they have, as I said, they're good at their job and they feel like the promotion is warranted. Not all the time, because once you see that this is a thing, you have to observe people. How do they interact with their co-workers and their colleagues? And that will tell you how would they interact with people being their employees as well.
Only if it was so. If it just
you see, it's not. You see, and that's why and this is why I say we lack good HR practitioners because a HR department is needed in every organization. I think larger scale ones because this is where HR will come in and advise you. So you may be a director, CEO, or something, but you don't know what it is. What you're really looking for, and that's where HR comes in and be that guide for you.
Right. But. And it's not even just alright. Sometimes, right? What I find that sometimes the pressure comes from above, and by the time it reach to the supervisor, it's like he almost become overbearing to them. You see me? So them just take out them anger points. Some people, you have some people out there where they don't know. Number one, how to talk to people.
Right, and I agree with that.
And some people feel like because you're a young person, just coming into the working environment, them can deal with you like a child. I'm not your child.
Right.
No come talk to me certain ways.
Right.
Because the minute you start talk to me, I'm feel disrespected, you're getting it back.
So you see, when you say things are coming from up top, you mean like maybe a change in policy or something? Or
Like,
just some type of communication?
Like something is happening or something has happened that not supposed to happen.
Okay.
Or there's a huge influx of things happening. Like you have the workload that get heavier and heavier.
Okay.
From above.
Right. Okay.
So more responsibilities that come.
Okay.
Isn't it?
And then when the supervisor frustrated, they take out their frustrations on you.
Right.
Okay. So you see, that person definitely should. I don't want to say they shouldn't be a supervisor, but you see, this is why I say it takes a lot, because these are things that you should know how to cope. So therefore you can't work under a high stressed environment. And that comes with the job of a supervisor, because things are constantly changing. But you can't project that frustration from the bigger heads onto your employees, because there's always going to be a clash, and then nothing is going to be done. Productivity is going to be down. So people need to, this is why I say it comes from having those people skills. Right. So if you're frustrated with up top, your employees should not know that, because you shouldn't be projecting that onto them. You come down and you say, hey guys, we have this extra workload, we have these deadlines to meet. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna split it up. We have 5 of you on the team. We're gonna start. What's the terminology I'm looking for? Disseminate, for lack of a better word. You have to start, giving people different, tasks to do and stuff like that. But you should not just get up and project that frustration on your employees, because that creates the toxic environment. Yeah, and nothing is gonna be done.
And you see, these toxic working environments, them lead to less productivity,
A lot of times.
Because, all right, when you as a person, as a young person coming into the working environment, you're fresh to everything,
right?
So you just soak up all of this information, all this new setting, and a school you don't know, a work you come to, and sometimes you come, you're willing and ready for work, and work good, but then after people start your unnecessary attitude and no know to talk to you properly and deal with you some little ways, and you see some of the biases within the working environment, you look on it, and sometimes it's not motivating.
No, and then people gonna sorry.
And then now you get labeled as a lazy person.
Yeah.
When had you been dealing with me better than that, maybe you would have better results.
And you see, that's why I say training is important. People like to say, oh, you might call it whatever. Training is important. You have an employee like that, you come to them and you say, what's going on? I realize this is not you. You're always on top of things, you're getting the job done, but now I realize your productivity dropping. What's going on? Have that conversation. What can I do as a supervisor or manager to help you perform better? Because a lot of time managers don't ask that question, and it is very important.
You know what the supervisor them do? Supervisors, I find that supervisors can resolve a simple issue. Like you do something, your supervisor go to the manager with it immediately. Remember a time I did work somewhere, and within alright, me start this month, and you don't really know everything. You don't know the proper procedures and everything, and within the first less than 3 months, you get reported to manager couple time.
You just get reported like that? So did your direct supervisor ever have a conversation with you?
Even if them have the conversation with you, them go report it still. Them go report it still. Like you have some people, you have people who just
sorry to cut you off. This is why I say everybody shouldn't be a supervisor. So you think it's a personal attack then? That's what it was coming off as?
So then what could it... And it's surprising to me because I don't know them people are from nowhere.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
So what is it about me, or what is it about a person that can make you don't know them, and within 3 months time,
They done.
like you're done. Make up your mind about this person, like you're done. Me even had there was even a time when a supervisor look at me and tell me, say, yo, you move like you're a bad man. Like you walk around like you're a bad man. Me say,
Whoa.
oh, this. Me say, oh,
So
this.
he's stereotyping you.
Yeah, it want that things I'm go through as a. I mean, I tell him I'm 24. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm just coming.
Yeah, to the workforce, yeah. Wow.
It's like, and them thing that just lead me for, you know, when me feel like ultimately, me don't want to work for people. Like,
I get that.
me don't want to work for people, and it's not, and 99% of the time, we as employees, we accept the fact that we not make the most money, you know, or this money is not a lot of money, you know. But you see, where the problem lies is when you want to stress me out for some little chump change.
Right.
Is it? So I develop this coping mechanism where it's like when I go home, I just forget to me did even work at that place, yeah. And it came to the point where I feel like I start forget things. Like the way how I try to forget everything about work. It come to the point where I just start forget things randomly. Is it? So it's like we develop a problem, which is it was a coping mechanism of trying to forget about work every day. It's what I say, because work so stressful. And majority of the time it's not about the pay, it's about the treatment, the working environment.
Right.
You see me? You know, motivating to get
go.
up and go to work every day.
Yeah.
Because you know you have to deal with some high level of stress.
Right. So you'll see when you first started, you're talking about like the person was just running to this manager or whatever. So my thing is with stuff like that, if you are doing something wrong as the employee, they're supposed to talk to you verbally about it, as opposed to always. So who, when you say manager, is that an HR person or is that just the manager?
The manager.
So did that company have an HR department?
Yeah.
Because HR is supposed to be the mediator.
You're messing, man. You're messing. Before, like a simple thing as you not doing this properly,
right?
Are you not catching on fast enough in for them opinion?
Yeah.
Are you even doing something in your way?
Right.
You get the same result. You know?
Right.
But for going a your way, or you see to do it. But people learn in different ways. You know?
That is true. And that's what you see when you see, and this is why I said we always have to leave room for creativity and innovation in the workplace. Because if you as an employee, you are doing the process another way but getting the same result or even maybe a better result and it's working, right? Why is it that you have to push back on it as a manager? Why not welcome that and say, hey,
listen,
okay, I see you doing it this way. It's good. It's not the way we're supposed to do it, right? But you're doing it and we're getting a good result.
Majority of the time, the managers are not the problem. I supervise them.
My thing is, supervisor, manager, okay, so you, for instance, maybe you work in purchasing, you have a direct supervisor and then they have a manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the supervisor is the problem, not the manager. That's what you're saying?
Majority of the time, the supervisors, your direct supervisor, them deal with you some kind of way. Like some people don't know. I mean, I tell you, my problem is, you know.
So let me tell you this, right? I'm gonna be an interchange supervisor and manager because for me, them feel like them are the same thing. We just interchange them sometimes because sometimes it's like
manager.
Supervisor, manager,
supervisor.
I guess you see, I'm coming from a different environment, so I get why you guys do it like that. Why you gonna say it like that?
It's not saying it like that. If you go look on an organizational chart, manager there, so supervisor there, so employee.
But sometimes you don't need. It's a different topic. Sometimes you don't need a supervisor. Like the manager could do that. You got the supervisor, like you got the building.
No, if you're working in a big enough company, you need that chain of command. You need a supervisor for do certain things, like for delegate certain duties for oversee the operation on a day-to-day basis. Because if you work in a big department, but the department is broken down into sections, you know? So the chain of command, you need people, you need supervisors.
I get what you're saying. Listen, what I just tell people, you're gonna edit this anyway. Well, the environment that I'm coming from in the States, some of the words that they use here in the Caribbean, we just kind of like not use. Because for instance, we will have a departmental manager that's equivalent to a supervisor. So you know that person is who is over these lot of people, as opposed to saying the person is a supervisor and then we still have a manager. So I get what you're saying though. So yeah, okay.
That's just that's how the chain of command go round it.
Okay.
Then you understand?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so that's how the conflict. For me personally,
the conflict is your supervisor, not your manager, and not the department manager.
Me manager them always
clash.
Good. Always good. But you see the supervisor them, Jesus, one good supervisor me ever got. One.
So you ever had a conversation and figure out, like, ask them, is there a problem that we have here? Like, is there a personal thing that we have going on? Listen, conversations are important in the workplace, you know, because if you keep going through something all the time, right? Yeah. Then there's like literally an elephant in the room, nobody's addressing it. You keep on nitpick at me. For what reason? But now we talk about it. Because I'm not employee. If I have a supervisor and I realize everything I do you're finding a fault with it, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Me? But me don't know you from nowhere. So then
you know you have some people who just don't like you and they know you. That's a thing. That's real.
Yeah, but that's on you.
Yeah, that is true. But no, you're making my job harder than it needs to be. So let's have a conversation.
Me not have no conversation with nobody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm that employee. Listen.
Yeah, me not have no conversation.
I am that employee. I will always pull you up.
Me do.
And you see, I think maybe because the type of personality I have, I'm gonna say what. I have.
She never experienced it. Yeah, because
you see, that's why the supervisors feel that they have that type of power over you, and they feel like they could do as they like. When you look at it that way, because if like me, I'm doing my job, but so I feel like sometimes we just say that we want the job and stuff, but when people feel like, oh, I could do this person as I like, then they're gonna continue doing it in the workplace because you're never gonna question them or push back on them.
You push, but what kind of pushback you gonna push
back?
Just
ask them a question. Like,
listen me.
You always come to me, you always picking at me. What's wrong? Like,
yeah, but then alright, some people paint alright. Them people are skilled, you know. So them paint a picture. If somebody continues to come to you about this person, about this thing, that thing every day, it's gonna create this. They're
creating a persona of you, of who you are not. What I tell people, you need to start making notes and record if you have to protect yourself, because sometimes people are gonna say, oh, HR gonna say to the supervisor and manager. HR is going to go based on what information they have. So you might think that your supervisor and make notes of things, but they are. So once you catch them doing something that is not correct, or them, you could tell that this person just nitpicking at me for no reason. Today I came in and they're gonna do this or whatever. You start making notes. I was having a conversation with a young lady who was encountering some issues with her supervisor.
So you see, it's your supervisor always a problem.
Yeah, and
majority
I don't.
Supervisor.
Maybe we need to wean out these supervisors and just have the department managers rather than having a supervisor, because I feel like sometimes
they're needed. They're needed. Listen to me. They're needed. May I tell her they're needed. You know, I know everything you need managers for. Like, the managers have their responsibilities and supervisors have their responsibilities. Then just need to get better approaches to things. Isn't me? That's
training.
Some of them
do a supervisory training. Then
you give them 100 training, then still at them see them. Some people are just them personality that. Some people just wicked fam, and them are Christian too. Majority of them, you see, them are the biggest thing in a church a Sunday data.
I don't understand
That's
why
why you see
you
me.
have to nitpick at an employee
see
for nothing. Like, because that's what so as I was saying, I told the young lady, what you need to do, you need to start recording things. When she says something, when she do something, you start recording it. Even if you have to write it down or anything. And it got so bad that the head, the two heads had to come in and have a meeting with her and the supervisor, and she was able to provide evidence stating what happened, and the supervisor was in the wrong. So I understand sometimes in the moment, you may not be able to, but from an HR standpoint, I always encourage people to make notes and try to track everything, so that when you bring that case, you say this supervisor is really, they have a personal issue with me. It's nothing to do with my job, it's a personal issue. You could show them that these are what I have been, enduring here at the workplace, and then they can come in and be the mediator and be like, yeah, you as a supervisor, you're the one in the wrong.
But let me tell you this. Me far from the perfect employee. Me is a youth where, alright, more time, you see, if I realize say I pick for me, I just shut you off and like, I put you aside. You know what I mean? Like, I will just not deal with you. I only talk to you when necessary. Like, I come in, I just quiet. And if you know me, anybody who know me, they know me as a jovial youth, isn't me? So like, always, everybody when I work around me is a little vibes person, you know? And from I find out, the minute I find out say you're against me, I just go in on my little shell, you know?
Yeah.
Round you, me just quiet.
Yeah.
Not say much. I try my best to avoid you. Because a lot of time, remember, these people in them position here, they're in these position because them they are work for long.
Yeah.
So them know all
That's
tricks
a
and
cultural thing down
so
here.
if them want, you see if them people here want to sink you, them
They're
know
gonna do
ways how
anything,
to do-
yeah.
Nah, tell them, man.
So that's why I'm asking you. You guys don't have an HR. With that company, didn't have an HR department.
HR, you not getting a solution from HR because them people are.
That's the issue right there.
HR
Leave that
good.
company. I'm sorry. People like just say, "Oh, me stay because I need to work and I need." Everybody have bills, but that don't make any sense to stay there because you're fighting a losing battle. You're not getting no results. Your supervisor is trash. Your manager.
Leave and go where?
Okay.
Go where?
And then you HR
Wait.
come.
Hold on,
So
go where?
listen, you
Wait now.
stay in that way. Stay
Shaniele,
in that working
Shaniele,
environment,
wait.
get stressed
Wait.
and then die.
Where? Where I go? Where I go find the work? You know them time here. Where I find the work?
Right.
I'm not tell you, man.
Continuously, yeah.
May I tell you, fam?
Those are really toxic work environments.
You have me used to work at one place, man. I may tell you, them people are push me to the edge, to the point where I blow up on them. Blow up on them couple times, fam. Like,
so you have you ever been called like into meetings and stuff?
I go meet until they fire me.
Oh, they terminated you?
100 meet me do, man. Me have
So what were the
me
grounds
have
of the firing?
Me used to have meeting every week. Me used to have meeting every week.
So
like,
you see, you sound the picture that they have painted of you. You sound like a troublesome employee.
Then me can label that, man. Me can label it. Yo, it gets a bad tell. The point.
It sounds like they're making it look like you are the problem.
But then that. Alright, you see me? Me is not the person. You are pick for me.
So you're not gonna defend yourself.
Me not gonna defend myself to you, man. You think I'm that? Me are that. Me show you say me are that.
You see?
No, you think me are that? That's how me used to approach it. You think me are that? Me leave you to it. Me leave you to time. And there were times when me look pan when me just go in and my manager office and me sit down and hold a reason with him. And by the time I done reason with him, the man I look at me like, really? Say, yeah, man. And I just cut.
So your manager didn't know what was happening to the extent of it.
They knew. He had my request for transfer about 100 times.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it because you're painted as a troubled employee and you don't move troubled employees into another department to cause more trouble. That's
so
why.
You get trapped.
Yeah.
You're trapped in this box. You're trapped in this box where you can't move. You have to get fired.
This is sad.
You have to get fired.
This is sad because there are resolutions to this and it's like
where?
No, that's why I'm asking. What you think HR is? This is where you see. This is why I say Sekis and Nevis lacks good HR practitioners and HR departments.
Remember, them people are work at this place for 100 years, you know.
Right.
Them people
that
are
does not say what they're doing is right. So you see, and I get your frustration, but I'm saying, right? You have a supervisor. The supervisor is making your job a living hell, literally. And you realize you don't have no resolution with them. So at any point did you say you went and talked to the manager? What became of that?
Me talk to manager too much time, fam.
And then change. And this is where the manager comes and they talk to the supervisor because you go to the supervisor and say, hey, this employee constantly keeps coming and having these conversations with me. So what's going on? There is a problem we need to try and solve it.
You know the thing.
If the manager can't get the results, then they loop in HR.
You know the thing. So
you see this is really bad because HR is the unbiased department in the organization. We are here to mediate.
Which part?
You see, this is why we need
which part?
Reform in Sekis and Nevis. Like
which part HR?
Companies, right? You see, your HR is supposed to listen. HR's post is to advocate for the employees, you know? That's what they're supposed to do. That's one of their functions. You look after the people. This is what I say. You look after the people who look after the people, which is the customers them. That's what you're supposed to do.
Alright. You know our next thing we'll get to me too. How can you treat somebody where I see every day for at least 8 hours? You treat them so shitty. And then somebody come in, like a customer come in, and hi, good day. You're the best person to them, the people there. But me over there, I work with you every day. You treat like dog. Like
this is really a very okay, if you see from an HR perspective and I find out what's happening, I'm calling everybody in. And you see HR they're supposed to do investigations unbeknownst to you, the supervisor and the manager.
No, but listen me now. You've had the situation that we tell you about.
HR supposed to launch an investigation.
Listen, we've had meetings with HR and no solution. It was to the point where that are just how it should be. That are just how it be.
So we are giving them a slap on the wrist then? Like, okay, we are condoning their behavior. That's what we're doing. I hate that terminology. So because that's how somebody is, I'm supposed to accept it? That makes no sense.
Employees have to accept that.
No. If you have a shitty supervisor, you're not supposed to accept that shitty behavior.
Well, you have to accept that.
No, you see, HR is supposed to mediate. HR is supposed to launch investigations into stuff like this that nobody even know the investigation is going on. And then you're going to see who the real root of the problem is.
You know, me find the problem with me personally is me not gonna make no report.
Yeah.
Me not make no kind of report, but just work with it. Whatever it is, you keep all the department meeting them, me not nothing to say. That's me.
So you're already clocked out. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't like those type of work environments. You see, because if I was the HR person, I wouldn't take nobody's word for it, because everybody got the version of the story and what's happening. So that's where you got to figure out what's really going on. And who knows, maybe you're not the only person who complained about this person, but nobody know.
Me?
Yeah, just join a
Me
reference.
not
Maybe
complain about nobody else.
but you said that you had the meetings and stuff like that. When I say complain, I mean you may not be the only person who have encountered this issue prior.
The only reason that end up in a meeting is because the situation gets so toxic that the manager call HR to get involved.
Yeah.
Basically. The only reason you end up in a meeting. And all the time. That's why I'm even looking back at it. If me could have go back in another situation there, but I just left. Cause it never worked. It wasn't worth it. Cause you don't pay me so little bit of money. And then you stress me so.
You know, in this case.
You know, but it became so bad that sometimes I just never used to go to work.
So you was just at home, no call, no show?
No show, nothing. And that's a part of
this is very sad, and you know when I hear things like this, it's really disheartening because I know that these situations can be handled better with the right people in the right places, and that's what I'm saying. The human resource department is a mediator for these type of things, and the supervisors have to be held accountable at some point in time, and the managers, and that's where HR comes in because you can't always blame the employee. You're supposed to protect the employee. You're not only protecting the supervisor and the manager. So there is some type of this is a serious conflict between these persons. It's really sad. It's hard because there are solutions to these things. You know, I've been in situations. I have had scenarios where I had to come in and mediate for whether it's a supervisor and employee or manager and employee.
You talk about what's supposed to be.
And that's what I'm saying.
What is
happening, and that's what I'm saying. It's really sad because there was a solution to what you were going through.
You know the reason why me used to move so me even reach to the point where like me just explode upon them is because me had an option.
Okay.
You see me? I see if me had an option,
you would have stayed.
But I just stay there. And majority of people don't have that luxury. Majority of people, like round here, it's hard to find a job.
Mm-hmm. You had to just walk away.
It's hard to walk away from. You see me? It's hard to walk away from your work. Just so. Because you don't know where you're going to get, and you have your responsibilities. You see me? And these people know these things, you know. You reach to the point where, remember one time, me in a meeting with them, and them I come mention about, remember me have a child. So
what does that mean? What does that mean? You shouldn't, you see, listen, no, me I tell you, no, I'll joke aside, right?
Yo, brother.
These things that you're not supposed to be telling employees those things.
Where?
Listen, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. It's like you're threatening me so I can't move. You're telling me, remember I got a child, I remember I got bills, I remember I got a house I can't pay for.
Yeah. Remember one of the big man them in the company come tell me, you gonna learn from this and that. You better you must learn from this and that. Best go on, man. Them tell them I'm done. But don't know so whatever what it is. What do you mean by that?
That is sad. You see, I am grateful that I was able to get, be abroad so that you could see how organizations should function. I'm not saying, you're gonna have your conflict here and there, but what I am hearing, and you are not the only person who've talked to me about certain things like this. It's really sad because you're coming to work and it's like everybody's against you. You don't have no protection, which is your HR department supposed to come in and say, hey, this manager or this supervisor really is not being held accountable. Where is the accountability for the supervisor and the manager? Clearly they are making the environment toxic for the employee.
But that's another problem, That's not for them problem. That
is not whose problem.
What the HR department sees is a troubled worker. Like at a work.
That's what I'm saying. That's the picture that's been painted.
Yeah.
But you have to do your due diligence, right? And you can't just take the supervisor and the manager word for it.
You come when you come to me, me tell them I don't know nothing. Figure it out on yourself. Because it's so toxic. It's like, alright. It's to the point where if you don't say something wrong, me not tell you say something wrong. If you can see that, hey, something wrong here, so then God go with you, do what you want to do. You reach the point. Yo, that station reach to the point where when them call them meeting and so, I should just go sit down. Shit, man. So I know.
Well, I guess it was a good thing that you had an option to leave because that's high stressed. Stress kills. Mental health is very important. We see a lot of people. COVID opened that on another level to see that people are suffering with it they didn't even know. So it's a good thing that you were able to walk away from that situation. But for the people them who are not as privileged as we said, HR needs to be better to them. Because this person has to survive at the end of the day, but you have to be their advocate. You have to create comfortable work environments for your employees, and that's where HR comes in. You don't just take anybody's word for anything. You come in and you do your due diligence. You be the mediator. You find out what is the root of the problem and let's get it resolved. Because clearly, this is something that's happening a lot here in St. Kitts and Nevis, where supervisors and managers are getting away with murder technically because they're just not treating employees well, and HR is on their side, and HR is not supposed to be on anybody's side. You're supposed to be unbiased.
That's true. That's so
yeah.
True. That's true.
Yep. So that's why I say it's disheartening, because when you hear these stories, that's why I ask people, you guys have an HR department, even if not a full department, like at least an HR manager, or VP or HR director or something, to have that conversation.
Them places I talk about a big HR department, man. Full HR department.
Yeah. They need to do better, and shame on you. I know. I think I might know where that company is. But
nah, me not call nobody.
I don't want you to.
When me there work, you know I'm good.
Yeah, I know you won't call any names, but it's really sad because that makes no sense. Because who knows, if HR did what they were supposed to do, the situation could have gotten better and you could have still be employed at that place. No, I'm just saying, I'm just drawing a scenario. If HR came in and did what they were supposed to do and the situation got rectified, it's the best thing that happened that you left.
Yo, you see, when them people fire me, Zane.
Yeah.
Number one.
So what's the grounds for termination? What they tell you they fire you for?
Me get fired, Zane. Me just get me car that time. Perspective Media bust them time.
Yeah.
Like, me start shoot Perspective Media. Zane. My son a grow. Zane. Yo, I happiest time of my life, that brother.
Well, that's good. It worked out for good.
It's like God does a work. See God work for my life this year, Jed. God no, for real. Like, the best thing about him to me.
Well, that's good. But I'm just saying, if it just in general, that situation could have been rectified. Then if you after the investigation it showed that you were indeed the toxic employee, then you will be dealt with accordingly. The first step isn't termination. You're supposed to have like a verbal written. I don't know what
the first step was a termination.
I don't know what the company policies are. Everybody different, but
you know how much letter I get? About 100 letter I get, you know. And my manager tell me for write back if me disagree. Right?
Have you ever had a performance review done?
Me get performance review done whole heap of time.
Okay.
Me get about 3 performance reviews.
How long were you with the company?
About 3 years.
Okay, so 1 a year. Okay.
Yeah, me about 3 performance review. We had performance review.
Okay.
But them the bias too.
So you were rated poorly in everyone, and they didn't.
Alright.
When
you know how me know them the bias. The first one, me get a mark. Not to be exact. Me don't remember the exact number, but me think me get like 70 something. The second one, when the situation start get terrible.
Yeah.
me realize a 60. That's a bad man. So I regress. So you try to tell me, say, I have regressed as a worker.
So are you saying that when you did, so the person would have done it and then just give it to you? Or were you guys like in a meeting side by side doing it?
Meeting side by side.
And they were doing it together?
Yeah.
Okay. So at no point in time did the supervisor say, okay, Dima, this is where you need to improve and this is what we're going to do to help you improve?
Well,
okay. Another problem we have to work on here, because that's what performance reviews are for. You're showing me where I'm good at and where I need improvement.
but then you see,
And then if I need improvement, you say, okay, you next time when we come back, you're supposed to be better at this. If it's really bad, you put together like a performance improvement plan and you say, I'm giving you 6 months to get better in this area or get better at this. And that's what the performance review period is for.
You know,
it's not just a bashing thing.
You know, in terms of performance at that job, I was great at my job. You know, I was good at what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But just all of the extra things. I just all of the extra things them like it was just a supervisor fam.
That's crazy to me. That's a toxic supervisor indeed.
Yo,
boy.
you know hear me say it gets so toxic that me just used to not show
That's
power.
crazy. And then HR not see that. Listen.
No, me get a letter for that.
But listen,
me get a couple letter for that.
HR got to say, well, there has to be a problem. Like there is a problem here. Like this employee just not gonna show up to work no more. What the problem be really?
The employee and that them get from it.
That's crazy.
They get and that
That's
they get
crazy.
from it.
That's why I said you need the right people in the right positions and the right spaces.
Yeah, man.
You can't
Rough,
just
man.
take a supervisor and a manager's word for something over an employee. That is not right.
All the time.
And that's why people don't like HR, because they say HR. So you supervisor say with the manager and HR buyer. So that's why nobody. And I get why you didn't feel comfortable having that conversation with them, because it happens all the time. But HR needs to do better. That's what you are there for. That's why we are there to ensure that the employees are comfortable in their work environments and spaces. We're there to make sure they're trained, they're comfortable, and creating that comfortable work environment.
And next thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I work in a situations where, alright, you have a busy period.
Mm-hmm.
Then things tough with the power face. Is it? And a supervisor just stand up, listen, just lean up, and watch, chilling, just a whole vibe.
Well, are you busy? Listen, my thing is, if you are a supervisor, you're supposed to be able to do what your employee do on a daily basis.
Yo, me give thanks. Yo,
listen, because how you can help your staff, how you can, and I don't like that word, how you can help your employees.
That's not the supervisor's job.
What them job be?
Supervise.
If you are a supervisor and manager, you're supposed to be able to do what your employees do. You're supposed to be able to do what your employee do. You are supposed to be able, I am a supervisor, I am supposed to be able to do any task that my employees are doing. Because if they need help, me supposed to be able to jump in and help them.
And then,
it's busy time. We got the line wrap around the building and we just there stand up and watch.
And then
that's crazy.
You know, next thing too, the bias, the clear and obvious bias. Like sometimes you will break a rule.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not perfect.
It happens, yeah.
Far from perfect.
It happens.
You see me? So we will break a rule today. And it reached to the highest limit, the highest level at the company. You see me? And somebody else do the same thing. And you watch, them watch them do it.
Yeah.
All the time, and watch them do it. And it's nothing. It's nothing. They think that disheartening, fam. Them think they broke heart, fam. The last thing we have to talk about the situation, yeah, because we feel like we need to move on. Yes, the worst thing them people they do to me, fam. Let me show you. To the point where me know for a fact, say, yo, them people ain't like me. Like from top to bottom, them people ain't like me. Pandemic comes in and Corona go on. All I who did a monthly worker start get paid hourly. Money cut down. Them say money no cut.
Oh, so
But
wait,
even
what
if
you
but
do?
you see me now, monthly workers become hourly workers. Monthly paid like if you get on a salary,
Oh.
you become hourly paid. And even if you work your full hours for the whole month,
Yeah.
your money never add up.
Oh wow.
Even it never come back to what it was. Alright. Fine by me. Then alright. Pan the last part of 2021, I get a part-time work. Then my part-time work I start 5 o'clock and me used to done work 4:30. Forget them time that me did have a vehicle, but it did have a problem.
Okay.
I may end up sell the vehicle, so I walk. Forget bus from point A to point B and to be on time. It was a problem. So I go to my manager, I say, you know, me get a little work and more change shift from 8:30 to 4:30 to 7 to 3 because that shift is available.
Okay.
And my manager said to me, say, that's alright, you could. You see me? And me do that, me change to the 7 o'clock shift for about 2 days. But on the 3rd day, supervisor realized that I go on. That shut down. So the manager said to me, say, he had no problem with it. But it's a situation where it should have been discussed with the supervisor.
Right.
So that's fair enough to me.
Yes.
So me take the wrong this up.
Yes.
Then you know move so.
Right.
Then me went on to explain the situation to the manager. Cause COVID come and you know you're low on funds. You get a part-time work, you see me? And me try make a money. Me have my youth and my responsibility to them. Me explain all of that to them, you know. Manager said, if you write a letter, write my letter. Nice, eloquent letter, you know. Because me is a English student. Get a 1 in English, you know. I go up on Google and get it write one piece of blood clot letter. Flat me language. Nice letter, you know. Sign my letter, you know. He say alright, he might talk to the bigger boss, them and submit my letter and whatever. You know, this man come to me, come tell me, say, your schedule can't change from 8:30 to 4:30. You can't change from that schedule to 7 o'clock. Without a reason. You can't give me a reason. Remember, you know, the manager was okay with it before supervisor find out, you know. Now, when them have them discussion with soups and whoever else, you know, it's impossible for me to work from 8:30 to 4:30. But it's possible for me to work from 8:30 and leave 3 o'clock and lose an hour and a half pay. That's acceptable. But
you can't come in at 7.
You can't come in at 7.
Wow.
Look, but from then time there, you see from then time there, the whole attitude does change to that place there. Like,
wow.
Them thing that disheartening from.
It is.
Like, disheartening. Yo.
With no reason.
They not give me a reason. To this day, they not give me a valid reason. Maybe they have one.
They probably don't, but if it was okay, and as you know, as the employer, you realize you should have talked to your supervisor and then, you know, go to the manager. But if it was, and you did, that's what I'm saying, and it was working for the 2 days, you say, right? It
just
worked.
The 2 days.
The 2 days. There was
2 days.
like
after the 3rd day, the Monday and the Tuesday, me go to work, leave 7 to 3, get my full 8 hours. Acceptable. Monday, the Tuesday. You see, Wednesday morning, a meeting. I tell her every week me have meeting, man. Every week.
And that they didn't raise a red flag to nobody?
No. You know, hear me? It's like you don't understand me.
I understand what you said, but it's not right because
I was labeled.
Right, I get that. That's what I'm saying.
This person.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. From an HR perspective, right? That should have raised a red flag. Because you said your performance as an employee was good though. You did your job well, right?
I do the job well.
Right. But just those other little things.
All of the little things, you see, because, alright,
because
so for example.
So you are a productive employee, right?
Yeah, but listen, all of the little things that have been continuously recorded and remember, you know, them have recorded all these things. So you see, if we make one mistake, that is magnified and amplified times 1 million. You see me? But no, this is a place where I used to work, Zane. I know people were 10 times worse than me, but them have better supervisors.
Right.
You see me? So them never reach to the point where what to me with that.
Right. And that's the thing, and that's what I'm saying. Everybody can't be a supervisor. It takes a special person. When I say special, I mean like the person have to know how to deal with people, because people go through things. Here I have an employee coming to me saying, you know, COVID hit and I have added responsibilities. I have a part-time job. Even if I can't give you an answer right away, I say, okay, let me work out something and see. Even if you have to go back and look at the schedule and say, okay, how can I shift things around?
You know, and
then you come back to you and say, hey, we could work it out. Maybe you can't get the 7 to 3, but you could get an 8 to 4.
You know,
you check?
You know, well, I know. You know where the man ultimately come down to. The man tell me, no, remember it. Them tell me, by the man. But if I allow you to do that, everybody going to want to do it.
Typical response. Ridiculous. Hope you are watching this. That's ridiculous.
Yo, may I tell you, as a youngster, I was 24. As a youngster, may I tell you them things that deter me.
Yes.
Determined.
And it puts a bad taste in your mouth. You don't want to go back into a working place environment. And I get that, because that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what supervisors and managers are supposed to do. Like, as I said, I just give you an example. You have to work with employees certain things. Like, one income can't sustain nobody right now. Excuse me. Cost of living high.
Especially that one day. Jesus.
Cost of living high, so people need 2 streams of income. Sometimes 3. So if you have a productive employee and they come to you and say, hey, I have a part-time job, it starts from this time, I want to change my schedule. You try to work with them as best as you can. I'm not saying the person would get what they want, but try to maneuver something. Because I have been in cases where I have had other obligations and I have gone to my manager and I said, hey, can I leave early? Can I work through my lunch hour or something so that I could get out because I have this to take care of? And you present that to them and they don't have a problem with it, because you know you have that conversation and you try to work with the employee instead of just trying to like blackball them or just being toxic and mean and just trying to create added conflict all the time.
I whole heap of time ask if me could have worked through my lunch.
Yeah.
Work through what? No. No, them said no. They said no. Plain up, no. Can't do that.
You ever read the employee handbook? Just a wonder.
Me read employee handbook already.
Just to see.
You're not getting no justice out of that. You're not getting any justice out of that.
This is like going around in circles trying to dissect this here, because it's like wow.
You can't get the justice in that.
That's crazy.
Not a justice in that.
I don't understand how people could just you're making an employee live in hell. That's what you're doing on a daily basis, and you feel good about that. Cause that's pretty much what that person is doing.
And them,
or did.
Yo, you see them people here? Them people in another organization there. A Bible leaf. Them diet consistent of Bible leaves, you know, fam.
Bible leaf. Oh, okay.
A biggest Christian them, you know. All choir them depend, you know. A church, you know. That's why you say me. church can't see me, you know. Wickedest. Yo, let me tell you this. The nicest
going
people,
to church doesn't make you a Christian.
Nicest people in my church are some of the wickedest people in my workplace, you know.
Well, they're putting on a show. They're just going to the church on a Sundays. They're not living the life outside the church.
Me nah go around the hypocrite there. Not me. Me nah waste my Sunday so.
Wow.
Not me. Then can't corrupt on me, cause.
Oh, that's crazy. That was really unfortunate what you went through. Very, very unfortunate. I know, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people face it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I keep stressing that everybody can't be a supervisor, because clearly I'm quite sure this person probably get it because of, years of working there or whatever. But that person don't know the first thing about being a supervisor.
Listen, the person I talk about, Zane, at that person's job, like doing the job, they're near perfect. They might have some old time methods, but they're near perfect at the job. But it's a supervising.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said people great at their job, what they do, But as it relates to being a supervisor and manager, they don't know shit about that. So it's like you're just making the workspace more toxic for somebody because you don't know what it means to be a supervisor and manager. You need training. You're gonna need that training. You're gonna need that training.
They don't have a clue. But they have had I hear them as supervisor. They have had multiple trainings.
Listen, everybody can be a supervisor. Everybody can be a manager.
Anyways, I feel like a time for move on. Some people need to just treat. This is like
and maybe that person is time to get out of the workforce too. Who knows? I don't know what their age might be, but then maybe it's time for them to retire. Because maybe they just don't like to deal with people anymore too.
But then, so segueing into retirement now. Because that seems like something you're interested in speaking on. You can't just throw out the people.
No, I mean, I said throw out nobody. I'm saying people, you need to look at yourself and say, bye, I've had a good run.
So at what age can you determine?
What the retirement age be here? 62, I think? I'm not sure.
65. I think they raised it to 65.
Don't remember, whatever. Some people still working and they're almost 70. Soon 80. They're still in the workforce, and some of them who does make people live a living hell.
I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, I say run nobody out the workforce, but what I'm saying is there comes a time when you should know as a person, I have done my best. I have had my time. I did what I was supposed to do. I came. I made an impact. I see that there are other persons here now that I know can make an impact as well. They have a different way of thinking, innovative, creative. I think it's their time. So let me pave the way. Let me make the way for them. What is wrong with that? I'm not running anybody. I'm just saying. I think there comes a point in time when persons should look at it and say, hey, I think, it's time for us to go
get
home.
A different perspective.
Okay.
You have some people where say them I work at a supermarket. From them at 1920, they've been in this field of supermarket. Them start as a cashier, them turn as supervisor, them probably manage the supermarket now. Then, hypothetically speaking. So being in this environment is all them need. You take them away from that environment, them dead by you. No, for real. Them dead by you. So you indirectly kill them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you take with the sense of purpose from them.
Your sense of purpose is to get up and work every day after you've worked so hard. Do some traveling, get into gardening.
No. That's
enjoy your retirement. Enjoy the grandkids if you have any.
That's how you see it.
Don't work till you die, because so I'm working, I'm making this money, I'm working, and then I die. Did I enjoy my labor?
Your idea of enjoyment might not be mine.
True, but I'm not gonna be working till I'm 70. That's just me.
Me no want work till me at 50.
Me no want work like 60. I want to be able to be comfortable where I can retire.
Me want be at 50 more comfortable
Yeah.
enough where me rotten rich man.
And you just start doing investments here and there. You know, your money working for you.
Right.
Right.
That, but exactly.
Well,
and what
true.
somebody love at the age of 50, it can be going to work. Some people are just so passionate about their job, like that's how I get them going.
That's true, but I just feel like at some point in time, some persons need to step back and be like, because it's like they're clogging up the system, pretty much, because you are there in a job and you are not you're not performing like when you was 30. You lack ideas. You're not bringing nothing fresh to the table, but you just say you're literally clogging up the system. But you have persons who are, younger than you, age is on their side. You have maybe added training or skills or whatever, and they should wait till you decide to go home at 70 when they're maybe 50 by that time.
That's how things work around here.
So because that's how things work around here, that doesn't say that that's the way it should be. That's why I say we need reform and we need change. So
you can't just kick people out of them work.
I'm not kicking anybody out. I'm not saying to just get up and go. I'm saying that there comes a point in time when someone should realize that I am holding things back. If something is not progressing and I find out that I am the reason why, I'm gonna stay there. It don't make no sense.
Yeah, make a senior citizen them feel away, friend.
Yeah, what the word be senior citizen?
Well, if you're 70, you're senior citizen.
So that means go home and enjoy you labor. You don't work all these years.
Alright. My grandmother back home.
Okay.
She's what do you call it?
And when I say kick them, I'm talking about some big walls.
Let me finish. She's like, she got a market. She's a higgler.
Okay.
Then sometimes she travel and work too. And may I tell you, if you try to take Miss Grace out of fear profession right now, a killer. You kill her.
But me not talk about things like that. You
can't stop. But then at the same thing.
You guys,
it's the
you
same
have a
thing.
CEO, a managing director for a company, right? Maybe a HR manager or something. The person have been in that role for like 25 going on 30 years. You have somebody who have been with the company maybe 5. You have them like a HR supervisor. What is wrong in starting to have that person shadow you? Because you realize, okay, my time is coming to an end. I'm thinking about retirement. I could tell now I'm tapped out.
Nobody ever feel tapped out. Not even
they might not feel it, but they are because okay, you are the HR director, and then the CEO come and say, well, I want the department revamped, or we need a restructuring of the HR department. And you don't know the first thing to start, because you HR in 1989 totally different way in 2022 now.
Me definitely no.
So what it is that you not think by. Me not even know if we starting. Me not even know what the new HR trends are. So where do I go? Like, but you got this young lady or young male. They with the company for 5 years now, and you could see that they just bring certain ideas to you, and you tap into that.
I see.
And you may even make a state for the case for them and say, hey, I'm about to retire. I feel like this person could transition into this role because of XYZ. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to run anybody out of the workforce, but I'm just saying there comes a time when some persons need to know my time has ended, and I need to make way for the younger persons. Listen, it's a young people time, as people say, like, we are the ones who have the ideas and innovations. We are making work easier. We know to work smarter, not harder. So I mean, I think give us the opportunity too. That's all I'm saying.
But I can see the value in that. Yeah, because you have a lot of dinosaurs about the place.
Right.
Like,
and some of them do make, as we were saying earlier, make the work environment toxic.
Yeah, because a lot of times too, you can't bend all three,
Right.
So a lot of times you find that alright, them know to do things this way and them want things done this way.
Right.
All the time. So then I leave.
That is true.
So then I want no kind of innovation.
Right.
You come with something new, it's like alien to them. You see me? Like a man want do things for them way.
Right.
And they're in a position where them control how things are being done. So you're stuck in that cycle.
Right.
You'll never see any change.
Right.
You see me? So I see value in what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You see me? So what are some of the other things you think St. Kitts Nevis need to change in terms of HR or the working environment?
Well,
overall?
as I said, I think that performance reviews need to become a thing because a lot of companies are not doing that. And you have somebody working for 2-3 years and never get evaluated. First of all, after probation, there needs to be an evaluation. And then you decide whether you're going to do it every 6 months or every year. But you have to tell people how they're doing and where they need to improve. And I find that a lot of companies are, the people not doing that. So that's another thing. I've talked about this many times. We have people as supervisors who I don't think are necessarily capable to be supervisors and managers.
Go back.
No, I'm just saying you tell me what I think needs to be changed. So I'm just saying, I'm just listing out a few things. So that is one. Performance reviews. Just learning what the HR fundamentals are, like employee engagements, how to make the employees happy, how to keep them motivated.
Right, that's
all of that.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Yeah, them need to have more employee appreciation.
Like even whether it's a retreat, on a Saturday we say, okay, we're gonna do something, for instance, I know there's sometimes we have certain days like administrative assistant, they make those employees in those roles feel good, have Christmas parties, things to engage them, have meetings with them. How do you think that we can improve as a company? What do we need to do better? Stuff like that. So I find those are the things that people need to tap into.
Well, which part may I work, them do that. Me see they're actively participating in them thing. Like,
that is good.
You have times when the big people them come around and them
you have
representatives from each department,
right.
and them sit down and ask why your issues, and
right.
people share different issues, and
you have to have those conversations.
You have employee appreciation, like you have employee of the month, and yeah.
And you have to
them thing that build morality,
and workplace ethics and workplace behaviors and stuff like that. And you have, as an HR department, you can't be biased because, as I said, people are afraid of HR. They don't trust HR, and you have to make them feel welcome. So therefore, you have to be unbiased. You're not advocating for supervisors and managers only. You're there for the employees. Because as I like to say, and I say it already for the morning, we take care of the people who take care of the people, right? So you have to make sure that the employees are well taken care of and hear them out all the time. Encourage them where you can and support them when you can. Whether it's training and development, anything, you have to do that. And I find that's a big thing. Because some people don't even know who are the HR personnel in their companies, and that's sad.
A issue too. I don't want it to seem like I have a HR personnel. So what that was some people come, like them go to school and them come back with them degree and them feel entitled to jobs of a certain caliber. But then if you put them in a certain companies to do the job, them have the book sense now. Right. But them not necessarily have the skills in particular working environment.
Right.
Isn't me? So sometimes as somebody coming from college, you have to take a lesser role.
You have to, it happens.
And learn, and then you get what's due to you. Some people feel entitled.
Right, you come back from school with a 4-year degree, you want the biggest position. That's why I tell people internships are important, because while you're going to school, you're studying economics or something, it will be good to have an internship for a summer while you're in school, whether it's every summer, whenever, because you get a hands-on experience. So someone can't tell you, oh, you only went to school, but you could actually show to them, well, I have been working in a company, I've had an internship, so I know how to do this job because I've had the hands-on experience. I was able to apply what I learned in school to the job. But when you're green, as I like to say, you're fresh out of college, you have to be mentored, I feel. You have to mirror and shadow someone so you know what the role comes with, what is expected of you. You can't just jump in and say, oh, I want to be a manager, or I want, certain positions, or I feel entitled to a certain pay. It doesn't work like that. Mind you, I'm all for being paid for your qualifications and skills, but you have to start someplace. And another thing, you asked, something just comes to my mind as I say pay. People should be paid for their skills, qualifications, and stuff like that, because you can't expect me to come in with a 4-year degree and 4 years worth of experience and want to start me on the bottom of the scale. It makes no sense, because I'm not being paid my worth at that point.
Right.
So I feel that people need to revamp their pay scale and structure as it relates to salary and experience and degree. So somebody fresh out of college 4 years, by right, if you want to start them at the bottom of the scale of the degree scale, that is fine. But they should not be on the same scale as somebody who coming in with 4 or 5 years experience along with a degree. Nonsense. Talking about, oh, we don't skip scale. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That doesn't make no sense to me.
Rubbish.
So that's what I'm saying. That's another thing that I think that needs to be, people need to look at here, because I find that it happens, and that's why people are so disgruntled, and people gonna be like, oh, me not get paid for my worth, but they're different, scenarios and stuff like that.
I feel like this is a good way to segue into brain drain. A lot of young people go away to study and them end up to come back.
Right.
Because going back to what you said, sometimes they have family members or friends who come back from studies, and them come back and do this mediocre pay and mediocre job, like the job's not there. What do you think is that issue here, and how you think it can be solved?
You see, this goes back to what I was saying, when persons are clogging up the system, because here you have young grads coming back every year, people coming back from university, and it takes somebody a good year to get a job, and that's ridiculous. And everybody wants to run to the government, but the reality is the government cannot employ everybody. But you have people clogging up the system, and I think that this is where people should think about, people are coming back, and I alone can't do this job. I got people out there who do it better than me. Right. So let's make way for them. And I find that what companies need to do is to give people a chance, because you want 10 years worth of experience for what? That don't make no sense. 10 years worth of experience. How am I going to get that experience if you don't give me the opportunity to come in and showcase what I have learned or what I may have gained from my internship? That's nonsense. So maybe some companies need to revamp for certain entry-level positions. This 5-10 years experience doesn't make any sense. Sometimes a good 1 to 2 years is pretty good, because when you look at it, if I'm in university and I'm doing an internship every summer, that's at least 2 years, because it will count per summer. So that's about 2 years experience that I have. So I think it's discouraging, because it takes too long to find a job, and people are not giving you the opportunity to be able to showcase what you have learned. It's like they're looking at you, or you're just fresh out of college, you know nothing. I went to study for 4 years. College ain't easy, so of course I'm coming back with some type of expertise that I can add value. I could have a seat at the table. I could help, reform or, be innovative. So I think that's what they need to do. They need to give people a chance, because they're not. It takes too long for someone to get a job, and that's why persons are discouraged by the pay again. And as I said, you can't expect to be paid great over, but think about that pay scale restructure and that salary grade restructuring.
One of the main problems I feel like happening here, everybody has studied the same thing too.
Right.
You have to analyze. A lot of times people just jump into going to college immediately after school.
Right.
Sometimes you should sit back and analyze.
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? And not just what do you want to do. Look at what are the jobs available here.
Right. What you see lacking.
In a Nevis, recently me and somebody had a conversation and them tell me one pharmacist there.
Right. I had this conversation the other day too. I say we have a lot of general medicine doctors, no specialists. I can't find a good dermatologist in Nevis. I can't find a good chiropractor. Other things. Right. We don't have a good oncologist. We don't have I must say not good. I don't think we have our own oncologist. I might be wrong. But these are things we need to tap into. Start specializing. Everybody wants to be doctor. Everybody wants to be lawyer. And that's what I'm saying. We as people, we need to look around and see where our country can benefit. Right. And then you go abroad and you study that so you can come back and add value. And you can be essential. Yeah. And everybody's studying the same thing.
You see, be a lawyer. Business.
Human resources. People go study that. Well, I mean, if you have the passion for it, but that's a growing field. A lot of people, we don't have a lot of HR practitioners here.
You're speaking of passion. Majority of time, these people go to college for these things. You don't necessarily have a passion.
No, and that's why I tell people, what do you like? You need. That's why I feel like when you're in 4th, 5th farm, you need to start having those conversations with yourself. What piques my interest, you know? Where do I see myself going? What do I want to do? How do I want to make an impact? And that's what you should kind of gear yourself towards to, you know, it, because again, college isn't for everyone. So everybody don't have to go to college. But even to be getting some type of certifications or anything of that nature in a certain area where you can be beneficial, because if everybody coming back with a business management degree, where everybody going to work?
Everybody want to manage somebody, please. Me?
So I find that's why we face brain drain too. There's nothing promising to come back to. Pay is a big factor when you hear people talk, and a lot of young people don't feel like they're given the avenue to be creative, be innovative, and have a seat at the table where we can actually, you know, move forward and be productive and, you know, make an impact.
Making an impact. Alright. You speak about brain drains and we talk about the types of degree. We talk about too much old people in the workforce. What are some of the other things you see happening here in St. Kitts Nevis? Well, in Nevis to be more specific. What are some of the other things you see happening in the working environment that needs improvement?
Let me see. I find that communication lacks a lot between supervisors, managers, whatever you want to call them, and the employees. Like, things happening in an organization and employees don't know. Right. Change is happening, they don't know. So communication needs to be improved. I find that some managers make rules up as they go and they don't adhere to what the employee handbook or policies and procedures may go. So you're gonna tell an employee don't do this, but there's no backing as to why they can't. It's like you're making up rules to suit what you want and not for the overall organization. That doesn't make any sense. And I find that another thing too, organizations, if you want to make changes, and you need to update your policies and procedures and let the employees know. And another big thing, orientation. Companies don't engage in orientation. People coming in and they don't know what is expected of them. They don't know what their job title is. They don't know what their job description is. Nothing. How can you have you're hiring a new employee and you don't have an onboarding? That is important. Like, so you're just coming in blindly. Nobody is showing you around, getting you familiar. You don't know what actually. You're just showing up to work every day. Because I've had conversations with people. Because I did some consultancy work and I was with an organization and I had to interview all the employees. Some people tell me they didn't know who the supervisor be. They don't know what their job entails. They're just showing up. He had employees. He had managers who said, I didn't even know this person was my employee.
You're a clerk.
That makes no sense.
You're a clerk.
So therefore, we need company-wide orientation sessions and department orientation sessions.
Yeah.
Another thing. That's big. I was shocked. How can you come in and not know? Like, you just coming in, you just hire me and that's all.
Yeah, you fall in line.
So what, I'm just getting paid to do nothing?
You're getting paid to fall in line.
Some people don't know that they had employees who existed. I had to put it out to them. I said, what this person said they report to you. I said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, yeah. Okay.
A joke thing that, fam. You see, more to say, the working environment is the worst here, because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
But it's a
bad.
lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, we just need. There are things we need obvious improvement.
Right.
Isn't it? And some people have some clear and obvious biases where need to get rid of. Isn't it? And a lot of the times we get in trouble as employees for breaking the rules, you know. And me not feel like anybody should have a problem getting in trouble for breaking the rules. But then the problem is when you see everybody else break the rules and
right.
And then when you look now, are you one in a problem all the time? Isn't it? So it's a healthy conversation to be had. Isn't it? Me personally, I feel like at times I've been toxic in ways, in one way or another.
As an employee.
So does everybody. If you was to admit it, at some point you have a level of toxicity. There are things me need to improve upon still. There are things still need to improve upon in the working environment. This podcast is brought to you by Jaay Tattoo. So for everything in tattooing, you can check Jaay, isn't it? You want a whole sleeve done, you want the smallest of tattoo, you want the biggest thing for do, you can check Jaay, isn't it? As you can see, I put on the screen some of my dog works and quality tattooing, isn't it? This podcast is also brought to you by TruVybz Island Prints. So for anything in printing on clothing, you can check TruVybz. They are located in Charlestown, right opposite the police station, isn't it? So you can find them on Facebook at TruVybz Island Prints, Instagram TruVybz Island Prints, or you can contact me if you get anything in printing, quality printing. TruVybz Island Prints, isn't it?
Except fingerprinting.
Back to the show now. So yeah, Shaniele. Yes. What else you want to talk to the people about?
I would tell people it's very important to engage in, career planning. If you are that person, you feel like you want to be career oriented, to engage in that from when you're in school, high school, sixth form. Because I find where I work, a lot of people come in and they're seeking employment, but they don't know. They don't know what they want to do. They want to go off to university. They don't know what they want to study. And some persons are just getting a job just because. And I think that what we need to do is to start preparing ourselves from in high school. And this is what I think this is something that the ministry education needs to tap into. Develop a career readiness class for fifth formers and sixth formers, where you start to get them ready for transitioning to careers and transitioning into university, so they can have an idea of what they want to study and what they want to be when they, get old and stuff like that. So I would encourage persons, when you're in school, study subjects and take sexy subjects that's geared towards something that you see yourself doing in the future. Whether you want to be a doctor, you do the sciences. You want to be an accountant or a business or whatever. You want to be in law, do your history and your literature and stuff like that. So that's what I would like to, tell people, to just set up yourself so you're not, running around figuring out what you want to do. You want to go to college, but you don't have any idea, and then you're just taking a job because it pays. Try to get jobs that would kind of give you that experience, so that when you are finished with university, you can have some good job experience on your resume that states that, hey, yes, I have a degree in this area, but I also have the hands-on experience. So there's something that I can bring to the table. I can add value to the organization or the role that you are applying for.
Right.
And please ensure that you engage in resume, in creating a resume, because I find people don't know what a resume is, or they have one but it's poorly written. And I find that a lot of young people, they don't like to work. I went to a career fair the other day, and I told persons, I understand. When I started working when I was like in, I think it was second or third form, I had a summer job for the first time. And when I finished sixth form, I was able to get a job at a law firm, because every summer I worked in a law firm, so I actually had experience to work there before. So I find that young people, you guys need to show some type of initiative that you want to work, whether it's working on the weekends or during the summertime. Get a job so that's going to help you to build your resume, so that if you go to sixth form and then you're finished and you're not ready to go off to university yet, your resume has something on it, so that when you go to interview, the persons can see, okay, this person know what it is to be in a workplace, and they have an idea of what is expected of them. So I find that that's what we are lacking a lot in those areas, and a lot of young people, they're not taking the initiative to build themselves, and I think we need to improve on that.
Yeah, and for the young youth, them too, and young females too.
Right.
Farming is a good field for going to.
Right.
Farming.
Yeah.
Farming is a very undeveloped field within Nevis itself. Very profitable. It's just like you have to work out for work hard.
Right.
You see me? Some only young boy need to put on the mind for work and top of man a work pound.
And everybody don't have to be in an office.
Yeah.
Because farming, agriculture, that's really good.
Yeah.
Engineering.
Yeah. Different
things. We need to continue to break the glass ceiling. All females, we don't have to be in an office. You know what I'm saying? We feel like we have to. That's what, we have to. Let's tap in more to the like STEM is becoming more popular. Tap into the more male dominated areas, male dominated careers, and make your impact, as opposed to just feeling like, I don't want, so just get out of your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? And tap into other careers. And let's stop going away to study the same thing, and then we come back and we can't find work because everybody doing the same thing. And then, so even if you go to university, you study something different, who knows, you may be able to have your own practice. We're all about entrepreneurship and self-employment and stuff. So, let's look at that.
Yeah, one of the main things too, we need more entrepreneurs within Nevis.
Yeah.
Everybody want to pack up in a government office.
Right.
That foreign to me, because back home, majority of people are self-employed. You see me? So it's like,
listen,
as young people,
we
need to be more innovative. Like,
I'm gonna tell you why. People like to work for the government because you could do as you like, and it's that culture that they have. They don't have no risk. There's no accountability. You do as you like. Nobody could tell you nothing, and you're just coming in, you're getting paid and going home. So it's like, me want to work for the government because I could do as I like. That's a really sad culture to have, because the government is supposed to have a certain standard, but they don't, because nobody is there to enforce and to reform it and say, hey, these things should not be done. Mind you don't work for, but you thought you pack up your bag and you're gone into it. So people like that. So that's why they want to work for the government.
Because
moving on, I can say it, that's fine. But I'm just saying that's the reality of it, because there's no accountability. So it's like, okay, you work for the government because you could do as you like, and that's really sad. It shouldn't be that way.
No man, I work for government, and they work here at 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
At 9:15, once them left over there.
Exactly. They work for 8 and they come in at 9. And they're taking 2-3 hour lunches. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I see them place.
That's ridiculous.
Yo, no, for real, no.
No, that happens. It happens all the time. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I walk past the dog, they were working a tinkerum.
Right, you taking your lunch hour and you're gone buy a bag of drink. Makes no sense.
Yo, government working, best right there.
That's why everybody wants to work for the government. That's why everybody wants to work for the government. It's sad. And nobody hold them accountable. Nobody tell them, pull them up. This is not acceptable. You can't do this. It's like, it's the norm now. So everybody just goes with the flow.
So anyways, Shaniele, is there anything else you'd like to say to the people? Because we're wrapping up.
Okay. So I just want to say, human resources departments in the Federation, clearly we have clearly there's a lot of work to be done, and you guys need to be that advocate for the employees and be there in their corner as well. I'm not saying to take sides, but launch those investigations, find out what is the problem. This employee is being painted as that troublesome employee, but let's see what's causing the employee to react the way he or she is reacting, as opposed to just siding with the supervisor or the manager and ready to write up that employee and terminate them. So let's do better in having that more welcoming atmosphere, so that employees would feel comfortable coming to HR and trusting HR, because people don't trust HR. So we have to work on that as HR departments and HR practitioners in organizations. We are working for the people, and we're taking care of the people who take care of the people, which is our customers and our stakeholders, etc. So let's make sure that they're comfortable. We provide them with the necessary tools that they need to be successful, and create those comfortable and non-toxic working environments.
You hear that? Create those comfortable and non-toxic environments. Again, those comfortable and non-toxic environments.
Yeah.
Is people remember for like, share and subscribe. Tell a friend for tell a friend. Perspectives Media, we have the quality contents. Isn't it? Not just entertainment. Sometimes we have the informative episodes. Isn't it? So until next time, remember you can follow us on Facebook at Perspectives Media. Follow us on Instagram at Perspectives_media. TikTok, Perspectives Media. Don't know, we have the bad shots them. On YouTube, same way. Yeah, man. So until next time, we're out.
Bye.
Perspectives Media.